It's a pleasure for me to be here with you today, tonight. Actually, here in Ecuador, it's night, but it's a pleasure to be sharing this with you all, because as we were saying on Friday, not only do we celebrate Earth Day on April 22nd, but we celebrate Earth Day every day of the year, because we need to recognize, as Yoli was saying, that nature is our mother, that we are part of nature, and that we need to deeply reconnect with nature urgently. We are running out of time, as it has been said. The IPCC last report and the last two reports really show us the urgency of acting now. And I truly believe that advocating for the rights of nature is the path to go towards a real change, a change in our paradigm, a really important change in our paradigm, a needed change in our paradigm. So I'm going to start just and hopefully to inspire you on how the rights of nature movement has grown and how important it is to really engage with the rights of nature as a paradigm shifter. First of all, I would like to start by saying that if we only take and consider rights of nature, environmental law, we can say that environmental law has not been enough. We are about to celebrate, actually this year, Stockholm Plus 50, where the term of sustainable development was started. And we can see that sustainable development and environmental law have not been enough to really secure our ecosystems, to really guarantee the life in our ecosystems, to really avoid the sixth mass extinction that we are living now, to really avoid this hothouse Earth towards which we are moving forward if we don't stop the climate change that is the biggest problem that humanity is now facing. So we can see that environmental law has not been enough. Environmental law has always been treating nature as an object, as a property, and as that nature has been our slave. We have to liberate nature. And to liberate nature, we need to understand that nature is a subject of rights, that nature is a rights-bearing entity, and that we need this new paradigm. But the news that I come here to you all, and it's very inspiring to see that we share the same message, although we are the other side of the world, that we're sharing the same message. And I truly believe that we're sharing the same message because Earth itself, Mother Earth, is speaking through us and is forcing us to act in the right direction, is that we are really promoting the rights of nature worldwide. If you can see in this timeline that I brought to you today, we can see how the rights of nature movement has grown very rapidly throughout the years. It started in 1972, maybe with Christopher Stone's writing Should Trees Have Standings? And it was very an incipient movement throughout a lot of time. In 2006, Tamacaburo, a small city in the US, a town in the US, promoted the rights of nature in its constitution, in its local ordinance. But it was really until we were able to promote it in 2008 in our national constitution in Ecuador that the rights of nature movement started growing in a very big way, not only with journal conferences, but also with constitutions, with laws, with court cases, and with networks working on the rights of nature and with the rights of nature. So what happened in 2008, I was very honored to be part of this constitutional process that Ecuador decided to start in 2007, 2008, where I remember the first exercise that we did back in that time was an exercise towards understanding what's the country we dream of. At that point, we were thinking of changing our constitution, and we were thinking, how can we change our country? What's the path that we want to change it towards? And the idea of thinking about a new model of development, a new paradigm, away from capitalism or socialism or the different paths that many countries have taken already, but towards a path that was very own by Ecuador, that is what we call buen vivir or suma causa in Quechua, that is pretty much the idea of well-being, is when we started thinking about this new paradigm in which you can really not have a well-being if you cannot guarantee that Ecuador is a country that recognizes the plurinationality, that is a country where many nationalities live inside our country, but also recognizes that nature is a subject of rights. It's a rights-bearing entity, and if we do, and if we can recognize that, then we can definitely move forward and guarantee a new model of development. So we were able to pass this in our constitution, and I can tell you with all my heart that this process was quite amazing, because we really wanted the constitutional members to start thinking about the idea of the rights of nature and to think that we are part of nature and to start a debate. And we were very surprised to see that with a majority of votes in our constitution, constitutional members accepted the constitutional provisions and recognized that not only human beings and corporations, unfortunately, are subjects of rights, but also nature. And in the same way, this was a really amazing way to make our constitution a more democratic instrument, because it allowed people to, it allowed us to incorporate the indigenous cosmovision, the world view of indigenous people into an instrument that had been very Western, an instrument that was very Western, and that now was really representing a big part of Ecuador and Ecuadorian people that were indigenous people. So in 2010, we met in the conference, the World Conference of the People for Climate Change and the Rights of Mother Earth. This was a conference in Bolivia where more than 33,000 people got together and shared the idea, well, many things, but one of them was the Universal Declaration for the Rights of Mother Earth. And this was really a step forward for us, even for Ecuador, because although we had given rights of nature in our constitution in 2008, this really pushed us to move forward with the creation of GARN. And GARN was this alliance. GARN is the Global Alliance for the Rights of Nature. It's an organization that we created back in 2010, the same year that we met in Bolivia, where we realized that it wasn't only people from Ecuador thinking about it, or Bolivia, but it was also people from the US, from Australia, from Argentina, from Chile, from South Africa, from Europe, that were thinking about the rights of nature. And then is how we were able to create GARN. And nowadays, GARN is organized also by hubs. We have different hubs, one in Latin America, one in Europe, now one being created in Africa as well. And we have also thematic hubs like the legal hub, the youth hub, the academic hub, and indigenous council, to really promote the idea and the organization of people according to their intentions to grow this movement even farther. I can tell you with a lot of not only with surprise, but with a lot of happiness, that already 37 countries have adopted some sort of recognition of the rights of nature. It has only been Ecuador that has recognized the rights of nature in its constitution. Nowadays, actually, I was in Chile 2 months ago, and Chile will be the second country in the world, hopefully, if they pass their referendum, to recognize that nature is a subject of rights in its constitution. But then we have all this series of countries, 37 countries, that somehow have passed a bill like the bill that you have been promoting with the Philippines, or have different initiatives like Panama that just passed a national bill on the rights of nature, or what has happened in different countries like Colombia that have recognized the rights of nature within different ecosystems, like the Rio Atrato, or all of the countries that I've listed here that have some sort of initiative around the rights of nature. So here, I'm not going to go over everything that has happened, but I do want to say that same year, 2010, when we met in Bolivia for the World People's Conference, there was a second resolution that also was adopted by the UN to work on a dialogue, on a ecocentric dialogue of harmony with nature. And this happened really to promote. Now we heard last Friday the 11th dialogue for harmony with nature that has really promoted governments to start thinking and talking about it. In 2010 and 12, I like what happened in 2012 because there was this amazing movement with the Maori people that recognized the legal persona of the Wanganui River. And this was reached with an agreement with the Maori people that had lost their control over the Wanganui River. And what they decided to solve this political issue between the Maori and the New Zealand government was to recognize that the Wanganui River was a legal persona in itself. Then I'm going to tell you more about the rights of nature tribunals. We started holding the rights of nature tribunals. But since then, many things have happened. As I was saying, in 2019, the Supreme Court of Colombia recognized the Colombian Amazon as a subject of rights. Then we have, in 2019, the adoption of the Bill of Rights of Lake Erie. And then we have Bangladesh, for example, in 2019, that recognized that all rivers and its affluents are subject of rights. So it's been really amazing how this movement is happening all over the world. Definitely in Ecuador and Latin America in general, the movement has grown a lot. As I was mentioning, the cases in Colombia, cases in Argentina, in Peru, in Mexico, where cities have been recognizing the rights of nature, in Brazil with the municipality of Paudalo and Benito, the Rio Doce and the Rio San Francisco have been recognized as rights-bearing entities. I want to share a little bit with you guys about the international rights of nature tribunals, because these have been amazing tools for us to really promote the idea, not only promote the idea of the rights of nature, but also to normalize the concept of the rights of nature. Because we have had international rights of nature tribunals, regional, local rights of nature tribunals, where a panel of really ethical and moral authorities have heard cases of rights of nature all over the world. And we have recognized that nature is a subject of rights, but of course, there are still many governments that have not been able to recognize that yet. However, these rights of nature tribunals have allowed us to bring on verdicts on behalf of nature that have been used as basic jurisprudence for the rights of nature in many ways. So we have done one in Quito, one in Lima, one in Paris, in Bonn, in Chile. We held one actually online for Europe last year, and last year as well, we held this one. This was the 5th International Rights of Nature Tribunal in Glasgow, where we spoke about the false solutions to the climate crisis and the Amazon as a threatened living entity. So we have continued these efforts of the rights of nature tribunals to really promote and normalize the concept of the rights of nature. And this has been not only an amazing way to visibilize nature and the guardians of nature, but also to normalize the concept of the rights of nature. I want to tell you a little bit about Ecuador, since we've been on the vanguard of the rights of nature, because I think that can inspire a lot of what you guys are doing in the Philippines. I can tell you that Ecuador has selected 6 cases by the Constitutional Court to further develop the rights of nature. So not only do we have the jurisprudence that is in our Constitution, but also we have what has been promoted in the different cases that we have in the verdicts stated by the Constitutional Court. So the Apiatua River is one very interesting example where you see that environmental law had given a permit to develop a hydroelectric plant in a river that was going to damage very diverse flora and fauna. However, a case was presented, and this hydroelectric plant was paused because they will threaten nature and they will threaten the extinction of various species. And therefore, with the rights of nature provisions, we were able to stop this hydroelectric plant. One definite example that I wanted to bring to you guys today is the effort of the Constitutional Court when it enforced the rights of nature safeguarded it in Los Cedros Protected Forest. This is a forest that is an amazing place I wish I could take you all over there because it's really beautiful. And within this forest, although it is a protected forest, mining was an activity that that could be carried out. And in December 1st last year, the Constitutional Court acknowledged that this is such an amazing space and such a biodiverse space that all activities that can threaten the rights of nature should not be carried out within the ecosystem of Los Cedros, including mining and all types of extractive activities. Hence, as I wanted to show to you guys today, is that with the rights of nature provisions, we have been able to stop extractive activities, especially mining, that is an activity that is threatening Ecuador in a very big way. After pretty much being an oil-producing country, we are now with the threat of open pit mining in very, very biodiverse places in Ecuador. So we now have this ruling, and we are trying to make this ruling be applied to other ecosystems and protected forests. I also wanted to share with you guys another example, that is the example with the intact frogs. We have found these two frogs, Rana nodriza confusa and Rana arlequinosicuda. This one in particular is considered a dinosaur for scientists because it's the last of its gender. It's not well known by science, and it's actually located in one of the two waterfalls that are inside one of the biggest mining concessions in Ecuador. So we are trying to stop this mining concession with the frogs, because doing mining in this territory will definitely lead to their extinction. So these were some of the examples that I wanted to bring to you all to demonstrate and show how this fight for the rights of nature has really driven us to make really profound changes. The last case that I wanted to show with you all, as I was saying, Ecuador is an oil-producing country, and we have gas flaring cases where we have said that, of course, these contribute to climate change and they threaten the Amazon. And for the rights of nature, the courts have said that these gas flaring these gas flares need to be stopped and closed in the Ecuadorian Amazon. So that is very inspiring, and I hope that inspires you too, to understand, how deep we can go with the idea of the rights of nature. What is the next phase? Of course, we need to enforce the law and the verdicts and to start this transition towards post-extractivism. We definitely need to systematize, disseminate, and educate on the achievements of the rights of nature and how to move forward. One thing that I can share with you all is that fortunately, and thank God and thanks to nature, we cannot track any longer how many cases of the rights of nature are happening around the world as we used to, and therefore last Friday on a soft launch during this Harmony with Nature event, our academic have promoted an Earth Jurisprudence Monitor through which we will be able to see all the instances and all the cases that are happening all over the world, and we'll be able to share the verdicts and the cases and the experiences from all these amazing examples that are happening all over the world to really inspire the whole world to promote the rights of nature. So because we are not able to keep track of everything, we now have a very nice system with this Earth Jurisprudence Monitor that we are going to launch on our website as well, so everybody can get inspired of how this is happening, and the message of nature being our mother is happening all over the world, and it's we are the sons and daughters of nature are listening to this message and are really promoting it all over the world. So I want to stop this presentation by saying, if we don't change, it will definitely disappear. I think that this last pandemic, the one that is still not over yet, has really shown us how small we are, how dispensable we are for Mother Earth, that she can really get rid of us if we don't change our behavior. And of course, we still have time. We're running out of time, but the rights of nature concept is really something that can help us promote a fast new paradigm where we not only change systems, and we not only change laws, but we change people and how people relate to nature, because we can no longer keep on relating to nature as an object, but we need to understand that we are nature, that we are 70% water, like Mother Earth is 70% water, and that we are part of her, and whatever we do to nature, we're doing it to ourselves. So I just want to finish by sharing my contacts, the website where you'll find more information. This is the GARN website, the tribunal website where you will find everything that we have done with the rights of nature tribunals. And if you're interested in and speak Spanish, the last page is a page that we have here in Ecuador to share the more than 56 cases that we have on rights of nature already in our country, and with all that legal jurisprudence that has allowed us to move forward with the idea of the rights of nature. So I know that we can share much more. I just want to say before finishing up that this is a topic that I have decided to devote my life to. Since 2008 that we included in our constitution, my life has moved around the rights of nature, and I truly believe that this is a path to take to really reconcile our relationship with nature and reconnect. When we think that we are not connected and that everybody is looking to other sides, I just recommend you all to look down and see that it's Mother Earth is the earth that is bringing us all together. And if we look down to the earth, we'll see how we are all connected and that we have to fight for her. So thank you so much for this space.